I have established a great platform here where I'm just sharing open and honest thoughts that many of us have over time and have had over time. And sometimes we struggle with things along our fitness journey. Sometimes we struggle with, hey, am I eating good enough? Am I exercising enough during the week? And I'm not going to lie, I've kind of gotten to the point where, I did up doing my 1 mile to 2 miles a day, back in December of 2024. And as you all know, I walked 1 mile a day from January 2024 up until the end of November 2024 before switching to 2 miles of walking. And what I've noticed, or what I broke a promise that I made to myself. I broke a promise to myself when I began walking in January 2024. I said, no matter what, I'm always going to walk 1 mile a day. I'm not going to increase it because I know that when I increase it, I burn myself out. And I feel like that's exactly what I've done. So I've spent the past 3 months walking 2 miles a day, getting 10 miles in a week. And, I think the real reason I did that is because I knew that I wasn't eating right. And even though I added in 20 hours of fasting, in December 2024 as well, I still wasn't eating right. I wasn't taking my eating seriously. So I knew that, hey, the entire reason I'm bumping this up is because I really feel like I'm not making any progress. But at the same time, I want to just keep eating whatever I'm eating. And I wasn't being 100% truthful with myself. So I bumped it up to 2 miles. And I do regret doing that because the promise I broke to myself is the entire reason I put the promise in place for myself, because I'm one of those people. I know that when I start overdoing things, that's when I create a problem for myself, because building up that momentum and keeping that momentum going will begin to become a struggle for most people, just like it has become for me. Now, I will say that because when I began walking January 2024, I did not dread getting up out of my bed and getting myself outside to walk my 1 mile every single day. But nowadays that I'm doing 2 miles, I feel like I dread. Oh, I know I got to do 2 miles, to reach my goal. And I dread the thought of having to walk the 2 miles. It's not that I'm being lazy. I just know how much work it takes. And I've gotten into the mindset now that, less is really more. I used to do about 60 reps per exercise on my fitness videos for, that I would put out for you all. And then I came to the conclusion, okay, I don't have to do all this. And thank you to my supporters who helped me to realize this. I don't have to do all those reps. If I'm just doing 3 sets of 5 different exercises for 10 reps and, doing the movements correctly, that's all my body needs. And let me tell you how I know that that is all my body needs. Because this past week I focused on doing that and my muscles were so sore. They were so sore, like I had done so much stuff. And that's how I realized, I've been overdoing it. When you start dreading your workout, you're overdoing it. Because in all reality, it doesn't take that much to get in a workout. And that's what I'm realizing. So I hate that I broke that promise to myself that no matter what, no matter how much I want to, get this weight off of me, no matter how much I want to get my body back like I had it before I had children, I'm not going to push myself to do more than 1 mile a day. And I did just that. And I am in a mindset of regret. Okay. Even to the point where I felt like I was ready to today is day number 1 of 5. Today is Monday. I had this thought run through my head that, hey, I'm not getting up today. I don't feel like doing those 2 miles. I don't want to do those 2 miles. And then on top of that, I got to do my weightlifting. My mind began to play tricks on me and just, have this sense of dread over the fact of what I'm doing. And I absolutely love exercising. I love working out. I love reaching my goals. I love, I love really challenging myself. But this morning, of all days, this is the only morning I've had this thought. I thought back to how hard I've been working, how much I've been getting up every morning, walking 2 miles. I've been getting up every morning, doing my weightlifting. And I had this thought come over me. I don't feel like doing this today. I think I've done enough. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have that mindset, because having that mindset is what got me to gain 30 pounds between 2022 and 2024. Okay. That's how I gained 30 pounds, okay? Because I completely got in this mindset of I don't feel like exercising. I don't feel like I'm making any progress. I don't feel like doing this, right? Because I was doing so much. I was doing the most. And when you're doing the most instead of doing what it just takes, doing the exercises per, body part, 5 days a week. And only hitting those 3 sets for 10 reps, right? When you're doing, the number of reps that are necessary and not going overboard, yes, you feel like, hey, I'm gonna get this workout in today. It's gonna be it's gonna challenge me, but it's not gonna be long and drawn out, and I'm gonna get it done. I've always been one of those people who I absolutely hated, having to go to the gym and be there for 2 to 3 hours. Not because I wanted to be there. I'd get my workout in 30 minutes, and I was getting super fine, after baby number 6, only working out 30 minutes a day, doing the bare minimum, right? And even back at that time, I was eating pretty decently. But, when I got back into my walking 1 mile a day, I didn't change my eating habits. I just continued to eat anything and everything that I wanted. I didn't have any regard for, hey, this isn't good for me. I shouldn't be eating this. It's going to make my blood pressure high. This is going to keep the weight on me. All these carbohydrates are going to keep the water weight on me. Not eating enough fruits and vegetables and protein are, I'm not going to meet my, nutrition requirements. And, that's where I am right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch it up. And, I've been switching it up, the entire time that I've been on my fitness journey. So from January to end of November 2024, I began walking 1 mile a day. And then I switched to walking 2 miles a day. And at that point in December of 2024, I also added in fasting for 20 hours a day. And I also added in my weightlifting program that you see, up there on the screen behind me as I'm getting this workout in. I added that in as well. And so I'm always feeling like I'm elevating to the next level. And so the next level I went to after that was realizing, with the help of you all, my viewers, it helped me to realize that I was doing way too many reps. I was doing a full body workout Monday through Friday. I was doing the most. I was doing too much. And, my body got so used to that it wasn't really, I don't feel like it was making the gains that I was supposed to make. It wasn't isolating my muscle groups. It wasn't, giving me a real full body workout like I thought I was getting. So what I've done this past week, just recently, is I began doing the 3 sets of 5 exercises for 10 reps. And I left it at that. And y'all, I feel like my body just in a week's time has responded to that. My muscles have been sore this week for the first time in a very long time. I feel like I'm really focused on isolating my muscle groups and really focusing on how I'm doing the reps. I'm focusing on my form. After I hit 10 reps, I'm like burnt out. Even just using the 5-pound weights on, like, say I'm doing back day with the 5-pound weights and doing the chest exercises for the flies and everything. Just using 5-pound weights, I'm getting a wonderful workout and I'm feeling my body responding. So that's how I know I've been doing too much. So my current exercise regimen that I'm going to be doing now, I'm no longer doing 2 miles a day because I know I feel mentally burnt out and it doesn't take all of that, okay? And you all have seen me do my 1 mile walking video. I don't know if you all noticed how much I was sweating doing all those different exercises within the 1 mile walk. But that 1 mile walk that I did last Thursday, I did all those movements. I was sweating all over my body that time I was done. And I was really able to push myself because I knew that, my 1 mile walk that I was doing after that to get my 2nd mile, I was going to take it really easy, right? So now that I know, how I've been going off on my fitness journey, I'm going to do the basic exercises Monday through Friday. I'm going to isolate my muscle groups. And I'm also only going to go back to walking 1 mile a day because the promise that I made to myself was for my own good mentally. And I feel like, I'm not in a good mental space in regards to walking those 2 miles a day any longer. I know it sounds nice to say, hey, I walk 10 miles a week. I get to boast and brag and whatever. But at the same time, I feel like it's taking a toll on me mentally. And I don't think I have to do that much to get the results. And the reason I don't have to do as much right now is because y'all have seen my Fitness Pal entries. I am totally focused on my nutrition. It's all about, did I get enough vitamin A? Did I get enough vitamin C? Did I get enough potassium? Did I get enough, magnesium? Did I get enough of calcium? Did I get enough of my nutrients for the day? I don't care about eating the junk foods any longer, because if I don't reach those nutrient goals, then my body's going to start to malfunction. So if you all don't have a MyFitnessPal account, please get one. If you do happen to get one, please request to be my friend on there. I am kindly Kimberly 15, and I do share my journal entries with you all. I share the things that I'm eating. I'm showing you, how it's possible to eat good and eat great and still feel like you're eating wonderful meals. Okay, I am so focused on getting enough nutrients because my body has to be nutrient starved. I have not focused on my nutrient levels in years. I haven't focused on my hydration in years. I've just now gotten to the point where I'm drinking 8 cups of water or more a day. I'm so proud of myself for doing that. I feel like I'm so hydrated now. I feel like, I'm meeting my body's requirements. I'm getting the cardio. I'm getting the weightlifting. I'm getting the nutrients into my body by eating the healthy foods, eating the fruits and vegetables and proteins, and not focusing on eating breads. Honestly, I haven't eaten breads in the past week or two, I want to say. And, I dropped some weight. I didn't intentionally just cut out breads. I just wanted to stick to healthy carbs. So I've been eating fruit, which I thought I couldn't eat, y'all. For a long time, I thought I could not eat fruit because it was a carbohydrate. For every meal, I have a protein. I have a carb from fruit. I have my vegetables. And, that's what I stick to. And that has been serving me very well. I'm having my baked chicken wings. I'm having my, scrambled eggs or sunny side up eggs. I'm having my turkey sausages if I want it, which I need to cut that back out as well. Because y'all know I got high blood pressure. Even though I'm doing all this exercise and eating right, I still have high blood pressure. And yes, I have currently started back to taking my blood pressure pills because I don't want something to happen to me that could have been prevented. Because regardless of how much exercising I'm doing, how much, I'm hydrating myself, no matter how much eating right I'm doing, my blood pressure just seems to not want to stabilize. So I may have to spend the next 6 months on blood pressure medication in addition to making sure that I'm doing everything that I'm currently doing. So that's what it is, because, I neglected myself for many years and making sure that I was giving my body the nutrients that it needed, making sure I didn't gain 30 pounds, which I did. And when you neglect your body, you have to deal with the aftermath of that. And the aftermath of that is the reality of not knowing, what damage you've done to your internal organs because you haven't cared for yourself enough to give yourself the nutrients that you needed. You didn't care for yourself enough to make sure that you didn't put on an excessive amount of weight. Now, I know I've had 7 children, but I can't, in my right mind, use that as an excuse as to why I became unhealthy. Because I've told you all many times before, after every single child, I got myself back in shape, no problem, because I focused on nutrition, I focused on exercising. It was that simple. So now that I'm back on track, after gaining weight, after, baby number 7 was 4 months old, after I got myself in shape from 6 weeks postpartum up to 4 months postpartum, I just completely went, off the grid and stopped exercising, and I gained a lot of weight. I got super unhealthy, and that's when I began to have blood pressure issues. Even wound up in the emergency room because my blood pressure was super high, and I was feeling so weird at home. And, never will I do that to myself again, okay? And if there's someone out there listening to the sound of my voice, let me tell you, you may be young right now, but I'm going to tell you, the things that you're choosing for yourself in this current moment will determine how you'll, be able to have good or bad health once you hit your 30s and 40s. And let me tell you, young people, it's coming. Time waits for no one. We all are going to grow old, and how we grow old and in our ability to have mobility and to, have good health is all dependent upon, hey, what are we doing today to prepare for tomorrow? What are we doing today to help make sure that we're not, faced with, bad health complications on our tomorrow? And so we really got to focus on that. And, I'm starting to see also when it comes to even feeding my children, my children, they might get snacks once a week, but the rest of the time they have, the healthy foods available to them. They have the fruits and the vegetables. I cook the proteins every day. And so it's no longer like, okay, I'm going to eat any and everything that my family's eating, right? I no longer have that mindset. I had to take a step back and say, okay, on the days they're having snacks, then I'm going to make me a fruit water. On the day that they're having, their snacks, I'm going to make sure that I load up on the proteins that I really enjoy eating, stuff like that. And throughout the week when they're not having snacks, they're eating the things that I'm eating, okay? Because I'm not going to be making unhealthy foods for my family. And you know what? Even over the course of me having a family, I've just never intentionally given them, bad meals. I've always cooked healthy foods, okay? We've always, had meals cooked from scratch. When I say we eat anything we want to eat, that wasn't to say, oh, I'm eating pure junk food. We going to, there was a time where I was visiting the drive-thru like 4 times a week, and that did aid in my 30 pounds of weight gain over the years. But nevertheless, when I cook foods, I cook home cooked foods. I use the, fresh meats, and I use the seasonings, and I incorporate the vegetables. I make sure that they've got fruit, around our home, not around our home, but in our fruit baskets and whatnot. And, most of the things that my children, they know how to cook too. Most of the things that we prepare here for our family are healthy things, okay? And, the thing that I'm dealing with is just, high blood pressure. And I do have a family history of, heart health issues. So, I'm hoping that, in the next 6 months, I can report to you all that, hey, my health is under control. My blood pressure is under control. I've lost the weight necessary. My blood pressure is under control. I no longer have to take these blood pressure medications. And, that's what it is, and that's what I hope to be able to report to you all, in the coming future. I'm dropping the weight, and that's another issue for my body. I'm not very tall, and I weigh a certain amount of weight that's unhealthy for my height. So in all reality, I have, 80, I have about 90, let me see. Yes, I have 92 pounds that I have to lose. I was needing to lose over 100 pounds back before I started seeing the weight come off. So I have 92 more pounds that I need to lose to get to a healthy weight for myself. And I know that that's putting a strain on my heart as well. I have these really huge thighs, and I still don't think they're going to go anywhere, but I'm still making an attempt to, put in the work and make sure that I'm eating nutritionally and staying hydrated, to be able to, advance myself further in my health journey. So I hope you all have enjoyed this talk. I really actually needed to get something out of my chest, and that's the whole reason I started doing these voiceovers in the first place. Just my online, journal, because I know there's other people who are having these thoughts as well. And that's, where my voiceovers got their start from. So I hope that this has been inspiring to you all. I hope that you stuck around for this entire workout to hear me talk about, things that we need to discuss, every day of our lives, with our family, with our friends, with ourselves, and be truthfully and 100% honest with ourselves.